Hi everyone, welcome to another ValueCase product release. In this video, as always, I will show you the most important updates. We have more on our website, in the product newsletter, as well as in the changelog if you want to find the detail. And in the video today, I will show you our new updates for the forms where you can use media now. We also have a new copy page feature, which many of you have been asking us for. Then we ship a big update for the email notifications, especially for our heavy users. And then we also have an update for the content automation, where our space properties now also support multi-select. So let me dive right in and start with the updates for our forms. Forms now also support media. And you can see that right here in my first form, I have for this question a YouTube video attached to it. And you add this quite easily. So if you had, for example, a short text, you can just enter the question and the text. And then you have this add media button here. And there you can choose from the library or just embed something new or add a new image or a PDF or so and then upload it. So you can also then change the layout. So you could have it full width. You can also decide to have it left or right of the question. And then you can just save it. However, I want to show you another new feature. So if you highlight text now, you will also have the text editing options. So you can, for example, bold the text, you can make it italic, you can underline it and give it a list, or also say, change the color. And then you save your changes and there you go. We have now this full video here. And this really enables you to add more details to your question. So for example, if you want to show how to fill it out, if you want to show an example or so, you can do that quite easily now with our new media option. On to the second quality of life improvement, which is to copy pages. This has been asked by many of you, and we always said, hey, you can just copy the blog and do it 5 times. However, we of course understand it's way, way nicer to just copy the full page. And you can do that now. So go to your pages in the sidebar, then click the 3 dots and select copy page. And then you will find a new red dot on the top, and you can click on it and then insert the new page here, and you will have it directly in your menu. And you can, of course, delete it and just use it like always, change the order, whatever it is. And of course, this doesn't only work for template to template, it also works for template to space, space to template. Wherever you are in ValueCase, you can now copy and paste your pages, and you can also paste them multiple times. All right, so those were the smaller quality of life improvements. Now I want to go to 2 advanced features. First of all, our updates for the email notifications. I'm in a space in a different account now, and here I have an onboarding plan that is quite extensive actually. Many of you gave us the feedback that while the email notifications are really nice, they need more control over them, especially for complex projects. So say you're working with 10 people or so in a space, you want to have more granular control over when is the notification being sent. And the big trigger for us was that for the task comment notifications here in the sidebar, when you wrote a comment, you always notified everyone who was subscribed to the comment notifications. So there was no way to only notify maybe the person this task is relevant for. And this changes with this update. So you can go to your settings now and you will see that we restructured this screen just a bit. But before I go too deep, just so you know, not much will change if you're using this like just sporadically or in one-to-one situations. But if you're using it for complex projects, you have new control, new options now. So the space activity notifications are the same as before, so I will just skip over those. However, what is new are our task watcher notifications. And these allow you, just like in other project management apps, to define watchers for tasks, not only assignees, and notify them only about changes to their tasks. So only about changes that are really relevant to them. And in this case, you can, as before, for example, define task due date reminders. And you can just assign somebody like Jane in this case who's getting reminders to a task. So let me do this quickly here and assign Jane to this task. And as you can see, Jane is getting the task due reminders and some other reminders. What is new? On the top right, you will find this new notification bell icon. First of all, this will tell you there are watchers to your tasks. An assignee is always a watcher, no way around it. However, you can now also add new watchers to this. So if you want to add somebody externally to watch this task and this task only, as well as all the comments to the task, etc., you can do that here. And they will only receive the notifications you want them to receive for only this specific task, right? So this is really a big, big update. And if you're using our email notifications a lot, you will really appreciate it, especially for more complex projects. Another thing about the email notification I just want to briefly highlight, they now look a bit different. So we did a bit of work on them. First of all, they will mention your company name in the from line. They will also have a new subject line that's just a bit more clear. We also worked a lot on the copy to make it really actionable for your customer. We also made our logo a bit less visible. yeah, just dial back the branding a bit based on your feedbacks. Onto the final, more advanced feature, which is our update for our space properties. It was always possible to define custom variables to then do content automation based on, right? So you could say, I want to have industry, manufacturing, or finance, and then based on that, show different content in the space without you having to go in and like manually hide and show it. And that was the content automation. This still works, however, we added new features to it because before what was not possible is to have multi-select. So for example, having industry, finance, and manufacturing. To do that, you would have to set up two properties, one finance true false and one manufacturing true false. With this update, you can now do this in one property and do multi-select. It's also enabled in Zapier Make in our API and allows you to build new automation use cases. So let me just add a new property here and call it automation demo, and then just say property type, multi-select. Important thing here, you can only decide this once in the beginning. You can't change it later on because you would mess up all like the data model, so to say. So decide it in the beginning and then say manufacturing and finance and save this property. Now this will come up differently when you have it in a template. So let me switch to a template. In my template, when I navigate to my page automation, so let me just do it here. I have a use case page for finance. And when I select now my new automation demo property, I have new options. So I cannot only say is or is not like before, I can also use contains or is equal to all of. And then when I select the values, I have checkboxes here. So I can select multiple. Now let me just change it to finance here and then go to manufacturing and do the same actually. So contains one of manufacturing. You can see already this is a very simplified example, but if you have many use cases, many product features, and you have to select like maybe 2 or 3 sometimes, or maybe just 1 sometimes, and you want to show different content, this should just do all of that in just one property instead of multiple. And let me now go and create a space from this template. Okay, space for Microsoft John Doe. I can go in and select the template, and then you will see that I have now these checkboxes. And I can select either one or I can select multiple actually. Now let me start with finance and create the space. This will hide the manufacturing page, so I only have the use case page for finance on the top because the page automation didn't fire for manufacturing. And now I can go to the settings and it's always updated. So I can go and say it's also manufacturing actually. And now this changed and you will see that the new page is visible here. And this is how the multi-select properties work. It's a big update if you're using our automations a lot and just enables a lot more newer and larger use cases. So have fun with this release. I hope you like it. And let us know if you have any feedback, any questions. We are really looking forward to hearing from you. Until next time, bye-bye.
One clear place, journey bright, customers happy from day to night. Sales to success, smooth in pace, moving real fine with value case. Automated nudges, progress shown, clean satisfaction, fully grown. From kickoff day till final close, everything clear, everybody knows. Trust built easy, friction's gone.